You know that feeling when you wake up and your body just won't cooperate. Your back's stiff, your brain's foggy, and you wonder if this is just how it is now? I used to think the same. I'd roll out of bed already feeling behind, like I was dragging myself through the day instead of actually living it. And it wasn't just physical, it was in my mood, my energy, even my motivation to do simple things I used to enjoy. But here's the truth I wish I'd learned sooner. Sometimes, the smallest changes make the biggest difference. You don't need to overhaul your whole life or become someone you're not. You just need a few simple, consistent habits that support the version of you that's still in there, sharp, strong, and full of life. Before we dive in, take a second to hit that subscribe button. If you're on a journey to feel better, think clearer, and live more fully, this is your space. Let's do this together. I know how frustrating it can be when your body doesn't feel like it used to. You try to stay positive, but deep down, there's this nagging thought. Maybe this is just aging. I felt it too. I'd look in a mirror and wonder when the sparks started fading, when energy became something I had to ration, not enjoy. Even the smallest things like going for a walk or cooking a real meal started to feel like too much. And it's not just the physical stuff. It's that quiet sense of slipping, like you're watching your life from the sidelines instead of being in the middle of it. You start to wonder if this is just how it goes from here on out. But let me tell you something that changed everything for me. It doesn't have to be. You're not broken. You're not done. And you're definitely not alone. What turned things around for me wasn't some magic fix. It was the realization that small, steady habits could rebuild my energy, lift my mood, and make me feel like me again. That's where the hope is. Not in chasing perfection, but in giving yourself permission to start right where you are. I started to believe, truly believe, that it wasn't too late to feel strong again. That I could still have clear mornings, lightness in my step, and moments of joy that didn't feel so far away. I didn't need to be 25. I just needed to stop giving up on myself. And once I leaned into that mindset, everything began to shift. These habits didn't just help me function. They helped me come alive again. One of the first habits that truly changed my life was starting the day with gentle movement. Not exercise in the sweat until you drop kind of way, just movement that felt good. I began each morning by stretching while still in bed. I'd roll my ankles, loosen my shoulders, gently twist my spine side to side. Nothing fancy, nothing complicated. What surprised me most was how much that 5-minute routine cleared the fog. My joints felt less stiff in my mind. It actually woke up. That small ritual told my body, we're not just surviving today, we're showing up for it. And that shift, mental and physical, set the tone for everything else. The second habit that made a real difference was drinking a full glass of water before anything else in the morning. Not coffee, not tea, just plain cool water. I used to wake up and head straight for the caffeine, but I didn't realize how dehydrated I was after a night's sleep. My body was running on empty, and I was asking it to function without fuel. Once I started giving myself that simple gift of hydration, first thing, everything shifted. My digestion improved, my energy lifted faster, and even my mood felt steadier. It was such a small act, but it felt like I was taking care of myself in a way I hadn't before. It was like saying, you matter today from the very first sip. The third habit was stepping outside. Every single day, even if just for a few minutes. I used to underestimate how much nature could affect my mood. But there's something about feeling the sun on your skin, breathing in fresh air, and just letting the world slow down around you. At first, I'd just stand on the porch with my coffee. Then I started taking short walks around the block. I noticed I slept better on those days. My thoughts felt clearer, and the little things that used to bother me didn't stick as long. Being outside reminded me I'm part of something bigger, and that life is still happening beautifully all around me. The fourth habit that changed everything for me was creating a consistent, calming evening wind down. For so long, I treated bedtime like a light switch. One moment I was scrolling or watching TV, The next, I expected my brain to shut off and fall asleep. It rarely worked. So I started doing one small thing, turning the lights down and playing soft music about 30 minutes before bed. That gentle shift told my body we're done for the day. I'd sip a bit of herbal tea, maybe write a few thoughts in a notebook, not a to-do list, just little reflections or things I was grateful for. That simple routine helped me fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up feeling like I actually rested, not just lay there. The fifth habit that quietly transformed my days was saying no without guilt. For a long time, I felt like I had to say yes to every request, every favor, every invitation, even when I didn't want to or didn't have the energy. I thought I was being kind. I thought it was expected. But slowly, I realized that every time I said yes to something I didn't truly want, I was saying no to myself. So I started honoring how I felt. If I needed rest, I took it. If I didn't want to attend something, I simply said, "Thank you, but I'll pass." It felt uncomfortable at first, but then it felt like freedom. Saying no became a way of saying yes to what matters most. My peace, my health, and the time I have left. The sixth habit that made a real impact was keeping in touch with purpose. Not just casual check-ins, but meaningful connections. I made it a point to reach out to one friend or family member each week, even if just for a quick call or a shared memory. Sometimes I'd send a message that simply said, "Thinking of you today." What I found was that these little moments of connection filled me in a way nothing else could. They reminded me I wasn't alone, that love still surrounds me, even if it's not always in the room. The older we get, the more we realize it's not about how many people are around, but how deeply we're connected. And those simple, heartfelt moments, they brought a kind of joy no medicine ever could. The seventh habit, maybe the most powerful of all, was speaking kindly to myself. I didn't realize how harsh my inner voice had become over the years. I catch myself thinking things like, "You're too slow," or "You should have done more today." I would never speak to a friend that way. So why was I doing it to myself? So I started practicing a new habit. Each morning, I'd look in the mirror and say one kind thing to myself. Just one. Sometimes it was, "You're doing your best," or "You're still growing." At first, it felt awkward. But over time, that small shift softened something deep inside me. I stopped seeing myself as a project to fix and started seeing myself as a person to care for. And that changed everything. If any of these habits sparked something in you, something that whispered, "Maybe I could do that," then follow that voice. That's the part of you that hasn't given up, that still believes in better days, stronger mornings, and a life that feels yours again. And if this helped, you want to stick around for what's next. Because in the next video, I'll walk you through the simple evening routine that helps me sleep deeper, wake clearer, and feel more grounded, without relying on pills or gimmicks. It's gentle, it's doable, and it might just become your favorite part of the day. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one healthy habit that's made a real difference in your life? Big or small? Maybe it's something simple like drinking more water or calling an old friend. Share it in the comments below. You never know who you might inspire just by speaking from the heart. And if you're just starting out, that's okay too. Tell us which habit you're thinking of trying. We're all walking this path together, and every little step counts. This space is for encouragement, for connection, and for reminding each other that it's never too late to feel good again.